And welcome to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Today, we're going to be talking about title business and also about this new network that is formed here out of Tampa Bay called the Become a Better Agent series. And it's all a result of Kevin Overstreet, president of the Insured Title Agency and also president of the Become a Better Agent series, commonly referred to as BABA. And you can learn more about this throughout the discussion, babaevent.com. So Kevin, welcome to the program today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So we'll get into what BABA is here in just a moment, but this all spun off of your primary business, which is title. You're the president and founder of an Insured Title Agency. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, I actually started in the business, in the title business in 1998, as a sales rep for a local title company in St. Louis, Missouri, where I lived, and it went quite well. I ended up getting promoted and moved to Kansas City, where I developed their national sales effort, and that went very well. I traveled all over the place. I've been to, it seems like, every major city in America. Had multiple clients that were in the Tampa Bay area, and every time I came here, I just loved it. In 2001, had my first child, a daughter, and got sick of the 5 days a week travel schedule for that job, and so the company moved me back to St. Louis, and I took over that market for them and grew it quite well. It was a great time to be in the title business in the Midwest.
And this all spun off of a chance conversation. You said you're bartending at a local a bar. Somebody told you they needed some help in the title business. You got out there, started selling title insurance, and then moved into your own business.
Yeah, I had a marketing degree from Missouri State University, and didn't mean that I knew much about marketing, but it was enough to get me the job, and just started hustling, you know, wearing out the shoe leather and spending a lot of time on the street, just going from mortgage company to real estate company. And
the title business isn't something a lot of people know or understand unless you're a real estate agent or a mortgage company, because general consumers, title companies don't market to the general consumers like a real estate agent would. Typically, you come to the realtor, and even though it is, you know, the seller who is selling the home, or if it's in your marketplace, the buyer selects, they get to pick the title agent. Oftentimes, it goes through the real estate agent because the consumer doesn't have any knowledge of what title companies to work with.
Yeah, you know, sometimes the consumer will choose, but 9 times out of 10 it is the, you know, let's face it, the buyer or the seller has the relationship with the agent. They trust them, and they know that they know more about the closing process than what they do as a consumer. So they rely on them, and the agents will, the smart ones, they develop a network, they develop a team of people that help their clients, whether it's mortgage companies, home inspectors, home improvement people, and of course title. And then
and for people that aren't familiar, you know, with title, I don't want to go into the deep discussion of what title is, but when you purchase a home, you want to make sure that you have clear title to the property, and so that's where Insured Title Agency would come in. You handle the closing, goes through them, they check for liens, encumbrances, all of that stuff. Earlier this week, I was just talking about a story in the news where somebody purchased what they thought they purchased, a condo for about $500,000, but they really had just paid off an HOA lien and had not actually taken possession of the property because there was still a mortgage sitting out there. A simple title search would have revealed that for like $150, but that was all over the news this past week. You
know, that's extremely common, particularly in Florida, particularly after so many people got turned on by the auctions. Post-foreclosure auctions, of course, we just went through probably the worst foreclosure wave in history, or at least in during my 20 years. And so people go to the county auctions websites, they place bids, they get these properties, and very often, we market to those people, actually, the folks that buy from auction. We actually, we won't go into it now because it's a long story, but we've developed a title insurance product that insures their ownership of the property, which has never been done. So that when they
buy at the auction, so they get. Oh, that's interesting. I have to have a separate conversation with you about that.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if anyone's ever done it. We got I finally got one of our underwriters to approve it, and they purchased that property. That is basically a quit claim deed coming from the county. It has no guarantees or anything whatsoever. And let's face it, that foreclosure that's a hostile takeover of the property. So it's more likely to have problems than any type of recent title activity. So what happens is they get the property with a certificate of title, and then they contact us, and we actually go back and examine the minutia of that foreclosure proceeding and then we sell them a title insurance policy. There's no closing, there's no warranty deed. It's very, very different.
That is unique. That's the first time I've ever heard about this, and I've done real estate for 10 years. And I want to cover that in detail on a future show.
I'm the first guy to do it, and it's the first time we've talked about it. So you couldn't have heard about
We'll cover that in detail on an upcoming show. I got a lot of questions regarding that, but I don't want to get too deep into the title discussion today because we want to focus on your organization, which is spun off of your title company. First off, in the title business, you're really kind of pigeonholed in your marketing efforts. You know, the rates are set by the state. You really can't compete on price. So really, you got like a closing fee to compete on, which is just a matter of a few $100. And then you got to come up with creative ways to get realtors to want to use your services. And that's where BABA kind of grew from, correct?
Exactly, yeah. A lot of our competitors, a lot of the people in the business, what they'll choose to do is very non-compliant. They may pay a kickback or something like that to whoever sent them the business, and it's illegal, it's unethical, and it's not something that we've ever participated in. So I have a marketing background. Marketing is my passion. I think I'm very good at running a title company, but I've got very good people.
And they make it, I mean, you're not even supposed to buy dinner for somebody if I send you a deal, or even buy me a candy bar. I mean, they're very strict. It's the RESPA guidelines, correct?
RESPA guidelines, I think there's 33 words in Section 8 of the RESPA Act, and it's the basic thing is you cannot give, and no one involved in the transaction can give a thing of value in exchange for a referral of title insurance or a referral of a mortgage client. So what the Become a Better Agent program is, began as a simple meeting, just a training meeting. I was teaching our agents how to control title when they have the buyer in the transaction, because in this market it's typical that the seller controls the title or the seller's agent, and that's very different than almost every place in the nation, and it's a little bit wrong that it's done that way. So what I've been teaching them, the way BABA started, is look, if you've got the listing, go ahead and control title, because everyone thinks you will, but I've developed multiple tactics for them to control title when they have the buyer, and typically not cost their client more money. And that's probably a whole nother show also. But as soon as I started doing that, I had multiple guests from those meetings say, wow, Kevin, I learned so much. What else can you teach us? And you know, at the time I was in my 18th year of doing this, so I'd kind of seen it all, or at least I thought I had, and started coming up with other topics, just very much title related, and then had multiple people refer their attorney, their probate attorney, their home inspector, different people that could come and educate the real estate agents on whatever it is they do to help them become a better agent, which is where the name comes from. And you know, one of the things that I tell real estate agents all the time is, look, it is remarkable the amount of knowledge that you either have to have or know about as a real estate agent. So the smartest thing you can do, whether you're starting out or you're experienced, is don't try to be the expert in everything, but surround yourself with experts in everything. Yeah. So what we've done with BABA is we've created and it's an ever-growing thing. Our 21st event is coming up in August, early August. So we've done 20 of these. The last one, number 20, we had nearly 200 guests. And there are two main things that are very different about BABA versus any other meeting that you're going to go to. And the first one is all of the sponsors, or partners we call them, are not allowed to pay to be sponsors. So that's absolutely unheard of. And the reason for that, let's take a lender for example. Excuse me. If I bring a lender in to talk to 150 realtors, and not me, a typical person running one of these seminars brings that lender in to talk to these realtors, and they're going to vouch for them. They're going to say, this is who you should try for your buyers. They're saying that because they were paid in nearly every case. So we don't do that, and that's one of the foundations of BABA is the partners are here because we know them, because we trust them, because we've worked with them, and we know that that they give great service and they're going to take care of the clients. And that's it. And I am, at least on a weekly basis, I'm contacted by a lender who has heard about BABA, or they've attended an event. Anyone can come to the events, and they're like,
yeah, you make these events free, correct?
Yeah. So they're free to the partners.
And you have food.
Free to the agents. We never charge the agents anything, and that's something that's different also. So the sponsor, the host, which is in most cases on this side of the pond is Insured Title Agency, and then we have another title agency over in Madera Beach that sponsors the event every time that we do it over there. I have an eventual plan to, I'm in the middle of trademarking the whole concept, and we're developing several aspects of it that aren't in place yet. Once they are, I'll be finding guys and girls like me around the nation to license through the Become a Better Agent program, and then they will be the exclusive BABA.
I think it's great because, I mean, so many brokerages have their internal training program, but there's really not anything, you know, where all the community can come together. At least there wasn't in Tampa Bay before BABA came along, and it is a very educational series. I've been at a number of them, and you've also allowed me to speak at a few of them, so I appreciate that. But yeah, and the community that come together, nothing but praise comes out of your events.
Yeah, it's been really great, and honestly, I'm humbled by how quickly it's grown and what it's becoming. We just changed it from every month to every other month, simply because it's becoming such a big event and so much work that we aren't able to do it.
Well, yeah, putting on a 200-person event is not a small feat.
Yeah, we would. When it was monthly, it was basically finishing one and the next day starting on the next one.
Right.
And in the meantime, running 2 title companies. So, and
meanwhile, you got to run your regular business.
Right,
too,
right. And then I've got 2 teenage kids to chase around as well. But and so the other thing, getting back to the tenements of BABA, the other main difference is, no one is there to sell you anything. There is, you go to most real estate seminars, and they're everywhere. There's probably 4 or 5 today in Tampa Bay, and 2 things are going to happen. You're going to hear from the sponsors that are paying to be there, that may or may not be good at what they do. No way to know. And almost in every case, the host of that event, and nothing against these guys at all, but they are selling you on the next event.
Right.
So I want folks to come to the next event, but that one's going to be free as well.
And that's BABA 21, correct?
Yeah, BABA 21 is going to be on August 9th at the Carrollwood Country Club, which has been a great venue for us. We moved the venue around as much as possible.
Hold that point there. We'll talk specifically about BABA 21 when we come back from the break in studio with Kevin Overstreet, president of the Become a Better Agent series. And learn more at babaevent.com. You're listening to That Business Show 2.0, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Welcome back to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. My guest today, Kevin Overstreet, founder of the Become a Better Agent series. Learn more at Baba Event 21 or BabaEvent.com, and Baba 21 is coming up right around the corners. What's going to happen here?
Well, this is going to be our Realtor Safety and Crime Prevention edition. So at each one of these events, we have a loose theme that we try to stick to a certain degree. We'll be speaking about other things as well. But in the news, you far too often, read about real estate agents who get assaulted or something like that. And if you think about and of course you know because you sold real estate for a decade, if you think about the day-to-day job of a real estate agent, and of course ladies are targeted a little bit more than men, but you're going to go meet someone at a home, could be a vacant home, it's probably just the two of you, and there are a lot of bad people in the world, and some of them have figured out that that's a good place to rob someone or do something malicious to them. So we've got some experts coming in to talk about some really basic stuff that you might not think of, like how to make sure that the person is somewhat legit. Just making them text a photo of their license to you.
There's some simple things.
Gets rid of most of them.
Yeah.
How you park your car when you show up to meet them. How you actually navigate through the house to make sure that you're not cornered in a room. We'll also be getting into some self-defense weapons, both lethal and non-lethal, and then we have a gentleman from the Florida Crime Task Force who will be coming in. I saw his presentation earlier this week, and it's hilarious and brilliant and so informative. And then we'll be also talking about crime prevention outside of that, which is often in the news, or at least in my news, we hear about wires being intercepted. So a wire transfer of money from, let's say, from the bank to the title company, or from the title company to the seller. These hackers are the smarter we get, the smarter they get.
This is fairly new in terms of prevalence, because I've been doing this 10 years, and only this last 6 months have title companies been really a stickler on these security emails and these wire instructions.
Yeah, and what at first, 5 years ago, it was with the cashier's checks, and we were victimized by this. We had to close an escrow account, and a huge investigation with the FBI happened. I don't know if it went anywhere, but they would basically create fake cashier's checks they looked as good as any cashier's check you could see. And so the title companies and the banks put in a lot of fail-safes to stop that. And we all had to start requiring wires for everything. So guess what the crooks did? They figured out how to intercept that. So without going into too much detail, if you just Googled it, you'll find it. There's
an article in the news this past week or two where it was Bank of America or Wells Fargo or something. The entire closing wire was intercepted by somebody. It was like the family's entire life savings.
Yeah. It starts as an email hack, and the crooks are able to monitor the emails back and forth, and that seller, for example, so let's say the seller is getting a couple $100,000 for proceeds of the sale, and the title company will get an email that is sometimes the same email address, sometimes off by a letter, sometimes it's actually the same thing. Say, here are my wiring instructions, and you wire it to them, and it turns out it's not them. And by the time someone figures it out, it's been transferred to another account, it's gone.
Wow.
And then you have the same thing where buyers bringing money to closing, they want to wire it in because we've all been told to require that. So they call the title company, get the information. The hackers are hacking the title company's email and their phone number. So they're calling and saying, yeah, this is the title company, send it to here. And they never spoke to them. So it's rampant right now, but there are tactics, there are things that you can do, again, simple things to help prevent that. And then we hear of these, the realtor will say that their commission check bounced. And they think, well, that's a poorly managed title company. Of course it is, but if that check bounced, that means the escrow account is upside down.
Yeah, right.
And if that check bounced, so did the seller's proceeds, so did anything else that was dispersed that day. And at Baba 21 on the 9th of August, I'll be explaining to people two really simple things that you can do with that title company to make sure that escrow account isn't upside down. Very, very simple, and literally no one does it.
Wow.
So it'll be an eye-opening thing for everyone.
You come across any experience? I've talked about on my program before, but what Bitcoin? Anybody? If you come across that yet in any of your closings, is the cryptocurrencies? Has that come up yet?
It hasn't. I've been told to avoid it, and that's all I know.
That's all you know about that?
Yeah,
I wonder about that with all the online stuff that's going on. It's an interesting
it's like an untraceable currency.
It's untraceable currency. It's based off a decentralized network. It's really taken off in the last several years and stuff. But just wanted to know if you'd had any experience with closing transactions using that form of currency, because down the road they say it's going to become more commonplace than what it is today. Going back to the Become a Better Agent series, where's this series going? What's on the horizon for Baba?
Well, honestly, if it doesn't ever go anywhere other than Tampa Bay, it's still fantastic. We're helping. We have about I think 500 to 550 agents who are enrolled in this program, and if it just grows here, fantastic, because it's helping everyone in the network. It's really just an exchange of business. If you look at a typical networking group, and nothing against those groups, but a lot of times there's a lot of people who are there because they need to pay for their seat so they can get business, because they're not established, or they don't really, maybe they're not good at what they do, or they're new, or they just moved here or something. And this is a group of all of the partners, all of the providers that help these agents and help their clients they're fully vetted. We have a Baba selection and oversight committee where you have to apply to be a partner. Again, no cost. You have to apply. You have to show some type of benefit to the realtor community and the network in order to be considered, and then you're in, and then you're in until you're out. And the way you're out is if you fail, if you don't give good service, or if you turn out to be a deceitful or shady person, you're excommunicated. Do
you have any membership fees, application, when you come to a meeting and then you fill out a form and then it's as simple as that?
It is. Yeah, it's the whole thing is to make it free for everyone, as far as a fee to join or to be a member, and then it's just an exchange of business. So I'm not going to home inspector, for example. He's not going to come in and pay money, but he's going to come in and say, look, I'll instead of being paid at inspection time, I'll get paid at closing, or something like that. So we've developed a whole bunch of things around things like that. But what the future hopefully holds, when I have this packaged up to where it's brilliant, I'll be licensing other folks in other states, other markets. I'll literally sign a non-compete with them. I'll never go there and close transactions. I'm just going to go and help them, not compete with them. And that's where the revenue would come to Baba, those folks paying for their monthly fee. And if you think about, here's the kind of the end game, which is if I have 500 realtors in this network here, and let's say I'm able to, best case scenario, build this to where there are 20 markets with 500 realtors apiece in them. So you're talking about 10,000 realtors. Right now, a real estate agent in St. Louis, for example, can't be the agent on a transaction here because they're not licensed here. However, in most states, I believe there are some that this doesn't apply to, but in most states they can refer across state lines and get a referral fee. Yeah. And so where does everyone move to when they retire? Florida. Florida. What are the, and this is a fact, it was in an article recently, the very hottest, fastest growing metropolitan area in America is St. Pete. Number 4 is Tampa. So that's incredible. So of all the people moving to Florida, many of them are moving to Tampa. So the Baba agents in all of these other markets are going to be financially incentivized, without being nothing out of compliance or illegal, to refer Aunt Susie moving from St. Louis to Tampa to someone in the Baba network. So instead of them going on to Realtor.com and finding a property and just kind of winging it, they're going to say, no, Aunt Susie, I've got a network, and I know these people are good because they're in this program. They send it to us. It goes to the right agent for that area. That's a transaction that never would have existed for our Baba Tampa Bay agent, and it's money that Aunt Susie's nephew would have never gotten. I think it's an amazing idea, and I've written a blog piece on this last year. The creative ways to market yourself, because you are so pigeonholed in title business with all the state promulgated rates to compete. And here you've went outside of the box, built a community, and has helped build your brand, and you've created a whole separate business. Yeah, I look at it as the expense of being the host, and sometimes it's Insured Title, sometimes Synergy Title, but that expense it's not small, but it's not enormous. It's less than I would pay a marketing rep. I used to be a marketing rep, and what a lot of marketing reps do, and nothing against them, is they build a huge book of business. They kind of become the face of the company, and they become a little powerful.
Then they can leave.
They can take that business elsewhere. They can demand more money, and it gets to where the owner of the business is in a less desirable position. So what Baba has done for us is that Baba is the marketing rep, and so. And it's just totally different. And I've always thought in business you have to be one of three things to succeed, which is be first or best or different. It's very hard to be best because everyone says that they're the best. We're certainly not the first title agency. We're the first ones to do this, and it's very, very different. And I think that's the most important one. And for me personally, this is fun. It's become a better agent, and the agent that's becoming the better the most is the title agent. Because I've learned, I mean, we've done 20 of these, and at every one, I learned a bunch of stuff from folks that I would have never met because we're bringing them in to present. And I look back at myself 2 years ago, and I thought I was pretty well-rounded then in my career, and it's nothing compared to what I am now. And I see it just continuing as we meet more of these folks, and you know, you pick up a little bit of expertise.
Who do you allow to attend? Can other title agents attend? Can loan officers attend in addition to just real estate agents?
Title agents, no. We don't do that because, quite frankly, we don't want people stealing the idea, you know, taking it and running with it. It has taken almost 2 years to develop it to where it is. So certainly lots of other title companies do lots of training. It's very good. There's some fantastic people that run title companies and some very good reps, and I know many of them. The cleansing that happened in the industry in 08 and 09 and 2010 was fantastic because most of the people that shouldn't have been in the business got out of it, just like real estate. So I have no problem with our competitors. I don't see competitors as competitors. There's so much business that we can all, you know, let's just all do it right. But title agents are not invited. Pretty much any type of real estate related partner. Of course, an agent. We do have agents who are banned because we don't want them there. If someone's unethical and we know that, then we simply don't want them. I don't want to work with them as my client, and they should just go elsewhere. But
you got to wrap up the program, but people can register at babaevent.com, correct?
Yep. babaevent.com, and the one that's coming up in August is available now. Our October 17th event will be somewhere in North Hillsborough or Pasco County. That's going to be nothing but investors, all about the investor, how the real estate agent can become an investor or work with investors. That will be a huge event. The August event is actually, we opened registration yesterday at 10 a.m. and when I left my office today to come here at noon, one day later, we had 130 registrations, which I've never seen. So, and we can seat 150. So we're going to close registration soon. So, so sign up now.
babaevent.com. Kevin, good discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Again, babaevent.com. You've been listening to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.